Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron got a Bible, the Women's Study Bible. This has been selling quite well. And this is in the King James Version of the Bible. I believe I bought some for the ladies at our church a couple years ago that I found at a good sale in, where is that? It's north of Perry, Georgia at a bookshop. They had them just an amazing price. And now these things are just selling like crazy. This is part of Nelson's signature series. And it says free digital download, $40 value, over 1.5 million women's study Bibles sold. So it's a very nice box. It's got the dusty rose, kind of fades in and out, white background. They did a real good job on the box. It's not over the top. Now I'm going to tell you too, it's a good size. It's not like a Life Application Study Bible or an ESV Study Bible. It is a good size, and it's also guaranteed for life. So this, the good folks at Nelson, they sent us this. They're doing our study Bible for us that we're working on. So they've been sending me Bibles. I told them I'd review them. I'm obviously under no obligation to give them a good review. And they can tell you that because I've done some bad reviews on some things that, bad reviews just because they were bad reviews, and then reviews that reflected not so good on some of the work they did. But this is absolutely incredible. Now, their leather soft that they're making now is fantastic. It is a proprietary imitation leather that lasts just about as long, or maybe even longer than genuine leathers. And what you don't want to do on a Bible like this, the sun is the enemy, not of just leather Bibles, but of Bibles like this, because this is kind of petroleum based and it'll mess things up. Now, they put decorations here. This is not just for decoration. This is actually too, because it's slick. If your hand is wet or something, you have a grip. Now, this does not have the stitching all the way around the side like many of them do, but it does have the double stitching in the front. It's got a purple back. I really like the color scheme, white, purple. It matches, and it's more like an ivory white, and it matches the box real well. I am a big fan of silver edging. That's just me. Probably because I've never had enough money to buy anything in gold. I bought some silver coins in times past, so I just like silver. They say Litecoin is silver to Bitcoin's gold. Nelson almost always does a perfect job with their ribbon markers. It's just the perfect size, the perfect length, just great. And it's purple, so it's phenomenal color scheme here. And this Bible is about 9.5 inches high. 9.5 inches high. Let Sister Francesca zoom in here. We greatly appreciate her in the ministry of filming this. Her and Brother and Sister Mallory do that as well. And it's about just under 6.5 inches wide. Now, real Bible people, they measure not from the cover, they measure the Bible block, but I just do that. And it's kind of yapped. It's I don't know if I'd call it a semi-yap. I don't know if you can see how far it overhangs, but not a lot. You're looking at maybe 1/8 of an inch there. It's definitely not yapped, or even what I would consider a semi-yap. It's not a full yap. Which term yap is just how much overhang the Bible has. But at the same time, it's not just congruent with the Bible block. So let's take a look on the inside of this. It's going to come with a card and telling you all about the quality and the lifetime guarantee. Now, the first touch of elegance you get in this is how the first pages, and I don't know if you can hear that at all, but they are textured pages. And that just gives this amazingly high quality feel. An incredible high quality feel. And they're very thick. And the thickness actually helps keep the book block in there. So that is just the first sign. It has a good little presentation page, which the presentation page is not that beautiful to me. figure I just try to be straight up with everybody all the time. I just want to tell people the truth. Hallelujah. In love, of course. And the ketubah marriage contract. See, that's really good. The ketubah, literally her writing, is the Jewish marriage contract required from the groom and read aloud during the marriage ceremony. So examples of the ketubah have been found dating to the 3rd century BC. So this is fantastic. The ketubah was designed primarily for women and often decorated in an aesthetically beautiful way. Jewish artists and scribes or calligraphers used their creativity, and it goes on and so forth. A ketubah to commemorate your marriage may be prepared on the opposite page, and so that's just a really cool thing. Fantastic. Marriage is honorable in all. That's what Scripture says. So this is just fantastic. It has like a nice little family records, genealogical section. You know, the debate rages. Some people like these in the front of Bibles. Some people don't. Some people say it makes the Bible too thick. Some people don't. But this is just a phenomenal sized Bible. It's about 1 3/4 in thickness at the spine. I used to measure everything in the front, which is where I should probably, but it's just so much easier to measure in the spine. The spine's the way it was originally. As you use it, these Bibles, you know, it may grow in the front there. So let's see what else this contains. What a phenomenal front. Nelson just hit a major home run with that. Okay, so Dorothy Kelly Patterson. I'm wondering if that's like Paige Patterson's wife or something. Helen Ray Stumbo, which we had some Stumbos at IBC. Jeanne Hendricks. Rhonda Harrington Kelly. These are all the editorial committee. Anne Graham Lotz, which is Billy Graham's daughter. And she says some good stuff and writes some good stuff as well. Writes a little blurb, for a lack of a better term. It's probably longer than the impression of a blurb, but writes some good stuff in there. This came out in 2012. And look at all the contributors. I'm just going to show you the contributors and the table of contents, because there's a lot. This particular Bible, my wife might like this Bible. It's purple. I know her mom loves purple. I think she likes purple too. She might not be as into purple as her mom. May have to give this one to Sister Waldron here. Okay, intuitive scholarship, distinctive exegesis, which is good. You never want eisegesis. Nurturing sensitivity, brings new and exciting ways to encourage and inspire. Mentoring friendships, creative service. So this is good. Has an article, God Cares for Women by Etta Linneman. That's good. Hillary McFarland, The Balanced Life, Reconciling Personal Faith with Practicing Dogma, Legalism, Propositionalism, Secularism. So a couple articles to start. Okay, so then you get into the introductions. I'm a big introductions guy. Many of you may know that. Genesis, Hebrew Bereshith, in the beginning is the first book of the Pentateuch or Torah, a designation of first 5 books of the Old Testament. Titled Genesis was first used in the Septuagint. The author, though Genesis has no explicit authorship statement, its inclusion in the Pentateuch suggests Mosaic authorship. Okay, so these scribal editions could well have been made in the process of copying manuscripts and did not affect the book's message, other than to improve the clarity of Genesis for contemporary readers, which I would disagree with that. So fairly conservative, not incredibly conservative. The Exodus is variously dated from 1445 BC as the earliest date. That's not true. 1491 is the earliest date. This date is assumed the death of Moses will fall around 1400 BC. Genesis was thus produced sometime in the late 15th century BC, several centuries after the patriarchs whose lives it discusses. Massive introductions, though, which I like that. So it's not going to be their most conservative. It's not even going to be like the Swindoll Study Bible or even the MacArthur Study Bible, which is going to be more conservative on those particular areas. It's going to equivocate some on certain key vital areas. You know, you start messing with the Bible, little leaven leavens the whole lump, and before you know it, something that sounds so good, since the Bible's an organic whole, you've unraveled the whole thing. So look at all of this. Look at all of the notes, the study notes in here. Now, it's not going to have like center column reference, side column reference, even end of verse references. So it's not a reference Bible. It is it's when they call it a woman's study Bible, it is a study Bible. That is what you've got here. And the text is a fascinating text. It is extremely readable. It is very dark. It is not lined real well, and that leads to ghosting. You can see the pages, but the word spacings are absolutely fantastic. So I'll show you some things in here, like it's going to have an article at the top, and then maybe you can look at some of the scripture as well. So even though it's probably only an 8.5 point type print, it's extraordinarily readable. They did the spacing up and down, and also the spacing within the words. Unreal, tremendous. But it's not thick, and it's, maybe it was like their first stabs at the comfort print that they've gotten now. So I would just call this a good readable print. And the notes are probably 7.5 point, but again, it follows the same thing in that extremely readable. It also have in-text paragraph headers, which I really like that as well. Has good outlines here. So let's say like Genesis 1:26. The plurality used by God in reference to himself does not detract from his unity. Man, Adam, is obviously a generic reference to both man and woman, mankind. The text of Scripture does not use gender-inclusive language and often lets the masculine serve of both masculine and feminine, as here. See here the chart, female metaphors for God, such as when Jesus said, you know, I could gather your chicks and all this stuff. Okay, we won't go there. The passage does not specify in what mankind bears God's image and likeness. Image, representation, likeness, similarity are synonymous, both referring to something made after the pattern of something else. So the term Shabbat means to cease. That's good. So Genesis 1:1, let's just read this. The other verbs used for God's creative activity are made and formed. It gives some Hebrew things. The first chapter of Genesis uses the Hebrew word Elohim for God, emphasizing God's character and power as the true God, only God, the sole actor in creation. Though plural in form, the reference in number is to one, and thus is used with a singular verb. This plural of majesty expresses honor and power. That's fantastic. That's extremely good. I'll show you another place where they not only have commentary, but have something in here. So everything is readable. The Bible is set up fantastic to carry. Now, it's not a thin line. It's not your little pocket Bible you put in your purse. You're going to have to say, I'm carrying this. Now, a lot of people like to have Bible cases. This would fit fantastic and probably a large Bible case. When you do that, though, you're going to want to be sure to break it in, because you'll break the spine if you don't, and then pages will start to fall out. So let's see what we've got. I want to see if it's got anything between the New and the Old Testament. Whoa, does it? Wow. Things you don't see almost anywhere else. Flowers and plants in the Bible. Sister Waldron's going to be reading that through. She has a green thumb. A green thumb. So, I mean, you just almost, there's like books written about this. You're not going to find, this has handy information. Look at that. Let's see what else it's got. You always go between Malachi and Matthew because in so many study Bibles, there's a ton of stuff here. Like bitter herbs of the Bible, vegetables of the Bible, herbs of the Bible. Great stuff. And then we come to Genesis. Look at this, the family tree of Herod the Great. And then on the next page, you're going to see another feature that I really like in Bibles is in-text maps. Instead of having to go to the back to get your maps, it's going to have in-text maps, but it's not going to have red letter, which that doesn't matter to me, but it matters to a lot of people. I think it's all the words of Jesus. But a lot of people like those red letters. So let's get to the back. Look at that bitterness, choosing resentment. Ooh, people don't want to do this. Shirley Witt Hofstetter, the prophetic messages of Revelation not given to satisfy curiosity, but proclaim God's will directly to his people so they might be encouraged to live godly lives. Boy, that is true. And so then it's going to have an index in the back. So like I just noticed like euthanasia. So it's going to give you a page number to turn to read about euthanasia. Now, I'm not saying youth in Asia. I'm talking about euthanasia, the killing of people who, for whatever reasons, usually the elderly or the infirm. Gnosticism was another thing in there. Okay. It's got extremely extensive concordance. The print's small. It's probably a 5 or a 6. And even though it's computerized, it's still going to be difficult for some people to read that concordance. But it is going to have a lot of things in there that are really good. And then at the back, it's just going to have a good Nelson map section, which has them avoiding water at all costs coming up out of Israel during the Exodus, out of Egypt during the Exodus, which I can't stand that. Maybe they don't know where water, or maybe they're trying to imply there was water there at one time and it's dried up since then. I just don't know. But anyhow, that's not good. But I think it's just your basic 8-page maps. I do like their other maps for the most part. They're really good. They're not extraordinary. I might even like Holman maps better. But these are nice maps. And it doesn't add to the thickness of the Bible. Now, this is my Cambridge large print text-only edition. And you can see, even though the Women's Study Bible is larger, it's not appreciably larger. It's going to be, what, half inch on each side larger. The thickness is going to be about the same in thickness. So even with all of the notes and the studies and the articles that you get in there, and how they make it smaller, obviously, is the print is smaller. The paper is just going to be basic Bible paper. So overall, I haven't read everything doctrinally in here. And in almost any study Bible, you're going to have to eat the food, spit out the sticks. Only the Bible, and we need to pray for God's wisdom and understanding the Bible, is 100% right. But I would say this is just a great study Bible, and I would encourage people to get it. It's just fantastic. Mother's Day, you might want to give it out to the best mom. We usually do oldest mom, mom with the most children, youngest mom, all this kind of stuff. This would be great. I did want to show you, I just happened to turn to Paul's second missionary journey. Stuff like that's just invaluable to let you see where you're at during the course of a Bible reading. So I even like this color scheme, and it comes in all kinds of colors, not just this one. I think it comes in genuine leathers. These things can get pricey. I think I've seen them for like $89.99. And one thing that fascinates me is I haven't been seeing these things come on sale, which leads me to believe they're selling well without it. I'm looking at the back. It's got Annie Graham Lotz, who we've mentioned. It's got Nancy Lee DeMoss, who, if you've never watched her YouTube video on holiness, phenomenal. And she actually married Michael Wogelmuth of Wogelmuth and Hyatt Publishers, Kathy Tricoli, Dee Breston, Emily Barnes, which I've done a review on one of Emily Barnes' books, Kim Daniels, Linda Dillow I'm not acquainted with, neither Roberta Hromis I'm not, but Stormy O'Martian, who wrote the prayer, power of a praying wife, power of a praying woman, power of a praying family, husband, all that. I mean, just amazing stuff. God bless you. I'll talk with you later in Jesus. I think this is a great study Bible.